Alrighty. And... Boop. Oh, that's embarrassing. One moment. I forgot my camera was turned off. And let's try this again. Boop. I exist. Okay, so the goal is need to kind of get the save system working, because there's a couple things I want to do mechanics wise that kind of rely on it. Some of the work I have kind of already done in terms of like back-end functions. I've done off stream, and so a lot of like the code compiling is like the big part of it. I try to do as much of the code compiling off screen, anything that'll require me to rebuild the project, because that takes so long and there's like not anything going on when that happens. But we're also kind of, I don't want to say taking a shortcut. So I'm going to be relying partially on a plugin called Savior, which is basically like a save slot management plugin. Because by default, the save system in Unreal is pretty basic. And so basically it saves me a little bit of trouble. But those slots on their own are still kind of limited in a way. So, excuse me. I've created, and I did this kind of over time, basically a code system that has, let me find it. A save registry is what I'm calling it. And so basically it keeps a list of all of the save slots. It allows it to know when they were saved, so it knows like what the most recent one is. It also allows me to have slots in different contexts, such as adding like a DLC story or something later, being able to determine what save goes to what. So there's a little bit of control in there. And the other half of this is a mechanic that I haven't really talked about. And there's a story reason for it that I can't get into on stream because I don't want to spoil things. But while there was already a plan to sort of do the typewriter save system that you expect to see in Resident Evil games, where you on harder difficulties have to have an item, a consumable item to save, that behavior is planning to exist. So like on the easier difficulties, you're not restricted, but you still have to get to those save locations. And on the harder difficulties, you have a consumable item. But I have a plan that on those higher difficulties, there's an additional, or really most difficulties, there's an additional catch in that whether or not autosaves exist, because on the easiest difficulty, there will be like autosaves to kind of help you. But on like normal and up, there won't be any autosaves. But also, because of course I love Souls-like games, I have a sort of world reset mechanic built in where you get to the save points, you have the option of resting to, refill, and a save also performs a rest, but doing so will reset parts of the world, like respawn enemies and such. There's no multiplayer. It's not like a multiplayer thing. And in fact, you can still pause. It's not literally becoming a Souls-like. But there is a sort of save reset, a world reset mechanic planned. And I'm referring to them sort of as anchor points, basically, that, like, determine where you respawn to. Again, there is a story reason behind it. It's not just throwing in a mechanic for the sake of a mechanic. But disclosing why on stream is not going to happen. So, got a couple things I need to do. I kind of already have like a load/save screen implemented, because I kind of did that from just the slot perspective to like load in slots and whatnot. It didn't actually do anything yet. It didn't properly save, but we're going to create some menus and see if we can't get it working. We do have our first ad break in about 15 seconds. And then when we get back from the ad break, because we pause during ads, we'll start on this. But we are going into ads any second now. As long as it doesn't take down the site when it does that, that'll be good. All right, Bezos, you gonna run your ad? I'd like to get started, Bezos. Anytime. Come on. Money. Tax evasion. There it went. It's an old joke, but it's still funny because it works. There's my other drink. Let's see if this works. Yes, maybe. It's still synchronizing. It does have like 350 meg of files to synchronize. Ooh. Okay, well, maybe it didn't need to synchronize all of those files, since they aren't all in use. That's probably unnecessary. Alright, it is synchronizing, so maybe it'll work? Cool. It still looks like my freaking Flux thing is on. Oh my god, why is my computer lagging? Oh, because it is on. I thought I could have swore I turned that off. Sorry, everything was yellow. Okay, we should be back from ads. So, right, so the first thing we want to do, we want to create a menu that we can open up from one of our save points. Widgets. That's our inventory. Hello. Nice to see you have tuned into a stream. I mean, I think you've watched streams before, but you said you were in a different account. We'll put it in here. Yeah, I guess technically it goes in here, but also it's part of this. So we'll make it part of this. Oh, that's right. You watched from YouTube. I forgot. That's my mistake. That is true. I don't believe you have ever said anything in a stream. Stream chat's usually pretty calm, so it's usually pretty easy for me to keep track of that kind of thing. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do... widget blueprint from interactable menu widget. Yes. And we want this one to be tape machine menu widget. That'll let us inherit some of our global UI stuff. Cool. Is it being slow? I have some files copying, and I wonder if that's why it's being so slow. I guess I could pause this. It'll probably help. Hello? Alright. There it goes. Okay, let me get this down here where I can actually look at the darn thing. Oh, yeah, if you're going to play the Pokemon community game, you have to do !Pokestart. It's the way that particular mini game works. You got a Sobble to start with. And then that Pokemon has escaped, so you'll have to wait for the next one. In fact, if you look, I think you have to like authenticate it, but if you're watching on a computer, at least, if you scroll down below the stream into like where the about tiles are, one of them is for the Pokemon game. And I think you have to like actually authenticate into it with your Twitch account. But it'll show you like your Pokemon and your items and stuff, like what balls you have, because you do have to like, you get points I think by watching streams, because I know I just have a ton, and then you can use those to get like more Pokeballs or whatever, because you only have so many, or get Great Balls or whatever. And then if you use, whenever you use the Pokecatch on its own, I think it just defaults to whatever ball you have. Whereas you can specify, you can do like Pokecatch, space, Great Ball, or whatever if you wanted to use a specific one. I think that's how it works. To be honest, I haven't participated in a hot minute. Okay, I need some variables. I'll call this tape machine ref. And this needs to be tape machine. You might as well make it a child of the blueprint rather than the class. And we want it to expose on spawn. I don't know. That doesn't need to be serialized. Should be fine. And then we do need some buttons and other UI elements. Let me see. Oh, yeah, if I'm going to expose it on spawn, that has to be instance editable. Oop. Okay. I'm going to open this guy just as a reference point, because this is the existing save selection menu. But I do still kind of have to decide how I want this menu to look. Let me... one moment. That's not what that is. Let's see. Flashbang. Dark mode. Jesus. Okay. Cool. And then I need what I came in here for in the first place. Let's see. RE. We'll do Resident Evil. I'm just curious how they do them usually. Typewriter. Menu. Can we just go into images here? Yeah, so they usually just, I think, open right up because they don't have that as that additional feature, you know, which would have been the plan in that case, but okay. Well, then let's do it like this. Let's not this menu. What am I... Where is it? Here? This guy. Let's keep some of these same elements. We can, like, keep the canvas panel. The background blur. I think it's going to copy everything, I gotta be honest. If I remember correctly how this usually behaves. This will let us keep a similar aesthetic. Yeah, that's exactly what it did. Which is functionally fine. Let's say this would be the name of that location. And then we're gonna have to unlink it because right now it's bound to a translatable text. So we gotta nope. Nope. I guess I'll just do that. We don't need I would argue we don't need a load button. Delete. Save button. Yeah, we're just going to make this one rest because we don't have a translatable one here. Previous is the save button. Rest is the resume button, which technically is not resume. We're just going to rename that right here. Rest button. Cool. And then duplicate, rename, leave. Oops. Leave button. Leave. Save. Cool. That should be fine for now. And then our decision dialog. We'll need to alter what this says, which is fine. We don't do that here anyway. We do that when we construct the menu. I do want to eventually include like some sort of help text, but I'm not terribly worried about that at the moment. So we'll leave that alone for now. I guess we'll just, can I? Oh, that doesn't work. What was this? 550, I think? For the padding? Really? Why does that not work? Oh, because it's got padding? Nope. Nope. Pause border. There's this guy, which theoretically should be able to be positioned higher up. Not really sure. Okay, what if I do this? Ah, shoot. There it goes. So I'd rather that be higher up on the menu there. Okay, now what we need to do, with all of these menus, there's a system in here. Where is it? Yeah, the apply global settings. We can basically copy this guy. We can replace that with that. The rest of those are functionally fine because we didn't change their names. And then we have to set the global settings. Set global settings. Boop. Cool. We'll come up with a better name, like way of handling that. Probably name it based on the location that the machine's in, the room or whatever the case may be. But we don't really know what those are, so that'll have to be loaded dynamically. And then I know there's a couple of others of these that you have to kind of deal with. Yeah, we probably want these, which is fine. We'll do a setup for this. Get rid of those. The first button is our save button. So we'll get rid of that. And we can actually create a variable for this. Construct. And then we do need this guy to be in here because it becomes relevant, especially when we move into the save menu. I think the rest of those are fine. We do have, these need to be changed, but we do have a need for this guy. Yeah, the rest of this should be fine. Yeah, I guess this would, where is it? believe would be our resume button. So on clicked, we need that. And so it would be the equivalent of this guy, basically. Oop. It's not what I wanted to do. I guess it would be on this guy, which is yeah, we can just do this. We can copy this over. And then we can just do this. Be nice and easy. And the on clicked just goes straight to the branch. Right. That's okay. Yeah, that worked pretty well. Cool. I was checking something unrelated. Let's see. Good. So let's see. We got that. We got that. And then that sets up our basics. So during our construct event, there's a couple things we need to do. I don't need for this to have that cast to the game instance. We do need to get player controller. I would set that dynamically, but I don't know that we need to. Let's just go ahead and promote it to a variable. In case we need to use it a bunch. And then tape machine, get get a validated get. Can manual save, as well as check can arrest. And player controller reference. Okay. Promote to variable. Cool. And then what we need to do is either enable or disable these buttons based on what we get out of there. Set is enabled. Okay. Boop. And then I think what we're going to do is we don't want to hide the button, but what we can do is set the text. Nope. This should be fine. So if false, we do this and we set Let's do it like this. And then same deal here. That way the player understands the reason that they cannot use one of those functions. And then we need button behavior for our save button. Boop, boop, boop. On click. And then tape machine reference. It is valid. Oh, we got an ad break. Let's see what we got going on. Okay, we are back from the ad break. Alright, so if our machine is valid, then we can do open anchor save menu. Self. Player controller reference. Cool. I wonder if I can do Z order. I get it from... I want to open it on top of this one. What if I do it like this? And then I get Z order. That's meant for a specific function, so I don't know if this is gonna work. We shall see. Because it's part of a plugin unrelated to anything I'm doing. But I'll tell you what, if we'll say greater than or equal to 0, and then we'll say select Boolean. Boop. Actually, might have to alter this a tad, because what I want it to do, let's see. I want to iterate. Increment. That's not really correct. Okay. I guess we'll just do the... No, I don't really need it to be a safe integer. Add, I guess. I wanted to just increment it, but there's not really an increment macro, and I don't feel like making one. So we want it to be whatever it is, +1. We don't want to add a +1 to -1, because that means it's not found. So if true, pass that value. Otherwise, we'll just leave it at 0. And then okay, branch. And then we also need an on-clicked for this guy. We want to open our decision dialog. Which in this case do this and do oh wait, that's because it's already in here as a function that it can call, which is what sets it up. So we'll go ahead and copy this and alter it for what we need. Show decision dialog. We do need to alter the text of the dialog, which should be possible. Yeah, because it's here. How? The other one. On navigation, enter. Why can I not? Can I do it here? I could not. Oh. I'm a dumbass. How I managed that. Okay, so say like resting will restore you and reset parts of the world state. So then on confirm. And then we'll do perform arrest. And we get the player controller ref. And then on success, branch. True. We just kind of need it to do this. And then also we need to exit from menu we are in. Let's just double check what the resume button does on this one, because that's basically the function that we need. Resume. Yeah. Which I think we already put in here, right? Yeah, so at that point, we W tape machine widget. This could be a reference to self. Can I get the player from this? Probably just like that would be fine then. I think this will work. We shall see. Also, because I can't freaking tell where this thing is at the moment, we're gonna add just a basic cube mesh to it. there like a... Didn't I declare a name or something for this thing? Save slot name. Object name. Display. No. I have to look and see what variables I gave this. I don't remember. I think it's going to, yeah, it's going to be huge. Let's just do... Doesn't need to have gravity on it. We're just gonna have it, to be honest. It doesn't need to be very big. And on this guy, okay, that should be fine, I think. So ID is what I called it. Okay, so then, hold on. Anchor. Oops. Okay, let's see what this does. It could do everything from work on the first try to crash. So let's see what we end up with here. I'm gonna pick this stuff up anyway. We don't need it at the moment, but okay, it did not pause the game. which complicates things. Because now we can't we can't do the thing. Oh no. Okay. Let's see. I'm hoping this means I could, like, physically adjust the respawn point. If this works the way I planned. We'll see if that works. I'd like to find a better way of handling that, but... like, put a physical actor on it or something, or a icon or something on it where I can see it, because, like, there's no way to know that it's over there. Right. I need... let's check the character logic for the pause button and see where I oofed that up. Drop, interact, pause menu. It was in the menu character component. Okay, so maybe what we do then is anchor menu widget. Widget. I have a plan. Right, we copy this. We take this out. Put it as the target. Honestly, let's just do it like that. Because the rest of that should be fine. And then that ensures that we pause. And add a custom event. Open anchor menu. Because then what we can do there had to be somewhere where we set that, I'm assuming. So oh, well, because it's just on there. Okay. So what we're going to have to do then from here Oh, did the YouTube stream go down for some reason? Interesting. No. The chat thing. Oh, there it goes. The chat thing you thought it did. So what we need to do is we have to find this component off of our player character. So, event graph. What we should be able to do is we're not even going to touch any of this. We do need a tape machine reference. Which we should be able to do from this. Is valid. The other thing I'm wondering, find references. Right, I have to create the widget. All right. So there's going to be some extra steps in here. That's fine. We'll do this. We create widget. There we go. That sets all that up. And then we'll just streamline that a little bit. Okay. But that means that we still have to call that function. And so we'll do that from in here. This should be getting the interaction value component off of the player. So if we say get owner and cast to base character probably be the easiest option. Then we can get component. We need the menu component, actually, which is not in here. Did we give it an ID? What the hell's the player? Menu character component does not have a component tag. Okay, we can fix that. That's fine. Call on this guy. We'll jump over to where it's defined. We need another component enum, is basically what this comes down to. Okay, so we're going to expand our enum. Let me save, because sometimes messing with enums causes crashy things to happen. Is this under... There it is. Cool. We'll do it like that. Oh, we got an ad break. Alright, let me just save this so I don't lose where I have it copied. Let's see what we got here. I think we are probably about back from that. Yes. Looks like we just came back. Cool. Yeah, we just came back from ad break. Okay, so with this now, you can call on this, and then is valid. Would do open. Oh, I guess I have to cast it, right? Because it's not going to return. New character component. Open anchor menu. Self. I think this will work. The only other thing. Okay, I don't think there's like a. Yeah. I don't think there's anything there that I need to change. Alright, let's try this now. It should pause and open the menu. Now, it's still probably not going to give us the save option, because I think we have stuff defined where we can't save. Alright, well, it paused, but it didn't open our menu. Why? In-game menu widget. It's because it was the container. Shit. Okay. Yeah, that's probably why. Alright, UI. Maybe what we need to do my thought here is we do something like this, and then we add probably sort that one by the top, as well as, oh geez, there it goes, like pros or something. Did you fucking stop? Trying to confirm the difference in the anchors and stuff over there, and it's like lagging out. Then I need to do it like that, and then the other should be okay, and then I would say we need the container. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. It's not referenced in Blueprint. What the hell are you on about? Delete. One or more widgets are in use. You are not in use in the graph. I don't know why you think you are. Weird. Okay. And then gotta make sure we have these. Now, this does pose a problem because this guy distinctly needs an anchor reference. So we need to probably override this event. Because we need to pass this variable. Or we do this. Set tape machine. Anchor reference. That should work. And then so then what we need is that this actually, let me break this because it's going to get all kinds of angry. Anchor. Refresh. Boop. Okay. So then, in this case, what needs to happen is we need to call our save menu a little bit differently. It means that we need to call this is where it was getting referenced. let's see. That navigates here. That's all fine. But when the button is clicked, blue. Navigate from menu. I'm going to save this. Anchor menu container. Hang on, cast to anchor menu container widget. Nothing, actually. This is fine. We'll set it like that because then we can do some shenanigans on it down here. Let's just see how this gets along. If I remove you, no, I can't. Darn it. Cast to anchor. Tape. I guess the tape machine reference is set there, so it should be fine. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I think it's actually probably going to crash, but... yeah, that's about what I figured was going to happen. I guess I gotta figure out where it's failing. Because it's not managing to draw the widget, it would seem. But I think probably as good a place as any to stop for the evening, because we're just over the 2-hour mark, and we'll have an ad soon if I don't end things, and I hate ending right after an ad or anything like that. So, smart thing to do, I think, is going to be to go ahead and call it an evening. I'm looking to see what friends are online. And I am thinking we will raid Lemon. They are also doing game dev. So, there we go. I should be live tomorrow to play something. We'll see if Resident Evil is going to behave. But otherwise, everybody have a good evening. And good night.